Welcome to Ringer Tailgate. I'm your host, Tate Frazier, and welcome to our Saturday live show. We've been watching football all morning. Started at 6 a.m. Pacific time, and I'm joined, as always, by my guy, Van Lathan, and my guy as well, Joel Anderson. Good to see you guys. Van, you're on the West Coast as well. Did you wake up at 6 a.m. for Lee Corso's final 3-hour rundown? It was a beautiful start to the day, a great day of college football.
I went to the gym. So I didn't see that shit. I went to the gym, but I did hear, and I was watching while I was at the gym, that Corso picked LSU to win the national championship. So
that's right.
Shout out to Coach Corso. He deserves the send-off that he's getting. I recorded it. I'll watch it later so I could soak it in. But I'm just so... College football has started, man, and we're off smoking the season, man. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. And if we're being honest right now, we're live in the middle of a Florida State-Alabama potential major upset. We kind of flagged it on Wednesday as a potential major upset alert if all things broke the right way for Tommy Castellanos. He said Nick Saban can't save you, and he's not saving him right now. Joel, what are your thoughts right now just in the midst of this game? We'll get to the bigger storylines of the day, but my goodness, FSU, are they back?
I owe FSU an apology. On our show on Wednesday, I said, oh man, we're going to start feeling sorry for Mike Norvell and FSU. I'm up here thinking that Bama was going to beat their ass. But Florida, this is no fluke. Like Florida State has controlled this game from the very start. And I'm like, so I was thinking about this. If you're a football player or whatever, and you got to, if you're on the Bama team, what film are you looking at to prepare yourself for this? You're looking at old Gus Malzahn tape. You probably got Nick Marshall cut-ups, and maybe I'm looking at some Tommy Castellano shit. But it's like there's no way to know how good this team was going to be until you're actually on the field with them. And it just looks like maybe Bama was taken aback by how. I mean, I don't know, man.
It's you know what the thing is? It's a tougher game than people expected it to be, for all the reasons that games are normally tough.
Yeah.
For all the reasons that games are normally tough. If you have an athletically gifted quarterback with moxie who knows the scheme and can operate the scheme at home against a team that's coming to where you're playing with some new people, some new starters, breaking in a new quarterback, if there was any thought by the national media that these two teams were equal in talent or were even close in talent, people would have looked at this game and been like, that's a tough game. But because that wasn't the thought, and because we have the exact opposite thought of Florida State than we had last year, everybody looked at Florida State and went, oh my God, look at all the dogs and the horses that they got. This is going to be an amazing team. This year, they don't have any dogs or any horses. This is not going to be a very good team. And it didn't click last year, and it seems to be, unless, they give this back, that is clicking right now.
Man, and FSU didn't score 24 against an FBS team last year, bro.
Great. Exactly. Joel, you read my mind. I'm like, this is definitely the most shocking result possible. They have 31 points on the board, and we were about to go live as they were driving, and then they just kind of casually scored another touchdown. If you watch the first drive of this game, too, Alabama was clinical. They drove down the field. They took about 7 minutes off the clock. It felt like FSU was patting themselves on the back if they got a 6-yard, stop. And then all of a sudden, the game completely flipped as soon as Tommy Castellanos got on the field. I mean, I'm beyond shocked that this is reality that we're living in. But FSU fans are like, this is what we do. We're in Doak Campbell Stadium. It's a hard place to win.
There's got to be panic happening right now in Tuscaloosa for a couple of reasons. Number one, they were breaking in Ty Simpson, a quarterback that had waited his turn and done everything the right way. Great college football story. Loyalty, didn't leave, set behind players that were ballyhooed, right? Now he's getting his turn. He's been in hell today. He's been in hell today. He's played very tough in this football game, but it has been tough sledding for him going right now. And Bama has not dominated in any of the places that people thought that they would dominate. And sneakily, they had a lot of guys out for this game. Like you haven't seen Jam Miller in this game. You haven't seen some of the other guys that are there. Right. So when you looked at it, when you took a step back and looked at it, you're like, if Florida State can come to play and give a couple of wrinkles, and if they're better at a couple of places than we thought they were going to be, it was going to be a tough game for Bama, and it's proved to be a tough game for Bama, man. So if you're wondering right now what the Kaylin DeBoer era is going to be at Alabama, It's going to be this. Gone are the days when you step on the field and you just know you're going to win. That's over. You are back amongst the mere mortals, and I could not be happier.
Well, I was gonna say, like, this is, I wouldn't say this is an unforgivable loss. It's an early part of the season, right? But like, how many more losses do you think Kaylin DeBoer can take before it's like, all right, that's it? Because clearly, the thing is, it was always going to be unreasonable to expect him to pick up where Nick Saban left off, right? Like, that's just
Right.
that's unprecedented. Nobody is ever going to be as good as Nick Saban was for as long as he was. That's just unrealistic. That's just not going to happen. But you can't lose this game, right? And then, like, I mean, they got beat up by a bad OU team last year. Like, what are you looking at if you're a Bama fan and you got unrealistic expectations already? What are you looking at that you hold on to and you say, "Oh yeah, well, this bodes well for the future"?
Yeah,
Well,
I guess you're saying it's a long season. That's the only way to cope.
Yeah. It's a long season. We don't know how Florida State is going to compete in the ACC. This loss might not be that bad of a loss as we look back on it, right? God forbid I would crush a coach or a program for losing its opening game. I don't have that. I can't do that. But for this, I think Kaylin DeBoer was going to do two things at Alabama. Either Kaylin DeBoer was going to come in at Alabama and say, I'm going to lead Bama in a new area of dominance in a different way, right? Which is his way. And he was going to make people believe that. Or he was going back to what I said a second ago, he was going to have Bama in a situation where they have great talent, they can collate great talent, but people don't feel as untouchable and invincible about their program anymore, where you walk on that field and you're not as intimidated by the uniform, by the A, by anything, by Brian Denny, by any of that stuff. And the book is not written on this. He's coached a season and a game. But if you're looking at it, that team is out there getting pushed around by Florida State. Yeah. They're out there getting the ball ran on them. They're out there getting their quarterback sacked and beat up by FSU.
Yeah.
And this is one of the call your shot games, right? I mean, for Tommy Castellanos to actually say that quote, it was aggregated everywhere. They talked about the bulletin board material. Nick Saban in the pregame on College Game Day said that he knew that it had been circulated around amongst the locker room. He was there a week ago giving a speech. So, like, old Bama would have used that and destroyed Tommy Castellanos. Instead, it's gone the opposite way. Joel, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's shocking.
I mean, the thing is, Kaylin DeBoer is obviously... Well, I mean, he's obviously a good coach. Like, he's had
fantastic
success at
coach.
Fresno State, Washington, whatever. And sometimes things can just be a bad cultural fit. Also, the foundation of the game has changed beneath him, right? Like, everything that's from the NIL to the house agreement to everything else. So it could just be that, he needs a moment to catch his breath and they'll get it together. But right now, I'm looking at this and I'm like, bro, Seattle was really nice. It's a nice city, man.
The national championship game feels a long time
ago. You
could
win there. You were in the Big Ten. Like when I found out that he was going to Bama in the first place, I was like, I get it. Pay raise to play at the highest level, but you were just in the national championship game. You prove you can win there. You can get guys to go to Seattle. Like, why would you leave this? Like, let somebody else follow Nick Saban, man. Don't be that guy.
See, this is the thing. I used to look back when people was fucking with the Kardashians when I worked at TMZ. I don't know if you guys knew that I worked at TMZ. It's not like people bring that up every single day of my life. Hey, just shut up, Van. You can't talk about how babies should grow up. You worked at TMZ, you piece of... Okay, I get it. But this was the thing about it. There was one family that was at TMZ that we really sort of made hay on. It's the Kardashians, right? Mm-hmm. And when a dude was about to start dating a Kardashian, you knew two things. Number one, he had to try it. Okay? You got to take the job.
Mm-hmm.
The Kardashians, that's what Alabama is. It's the Kardashian. You got to take the job. You have to take the job. Right. You up there in Seattle with your girl. You guys have worked out together. You guys look the best that you're going to look together. You've gotten the most out of each other. Kim, Chloe, Courtney, Kendall, one of them come around and they slide in your DMs. Chris, you gotta try it, right? You gotta try it. But you also have to know that it very rarely works out.
Mm.
It very rarely works out. You have to be of a certain type of disposition. You have to be a certain type of physical stature, have a certain type of mindset to survive the scrutiny of dating one of those women in that family. It is a whole different ball game than the ladies you used to date. And for Kaylin DeBoer to be at Alabama, you gotta take the job, right? But when you take the job, you gotta know that you are in for a different ball game, a different animal. We'll see how the team responds to this. If the team responds to this in a way that's incredibly positive, if they rally around, like if they get their hurt guys back, we'll see how they respond to this. But this is him kind of learning. I mean, you out there now, man. You on TMZ, you with the Kardashians. We'll see how you respond to it, you know?
Yeah, he's got the Miles Austin syndrome going on.
Man.
Damn, I mean, there's some dude, Reggie Bush,
Chris Humphreys,
Lamar Odom.
number one player in his class. Yeah,
James
Lamar
Harden.
Odom.
James Harden got him.
Obviously a big part of a championship team.
But James Harden can handle it. There are guys that could handle it, right? James Harden could handle it, but it doesn't look like Bama right now. It's FSU has the ball. What are we, about 2 minutes left? Yeah. It doesn't look like, it looks like Bama's going to catch this L, and the message boards in Tuscaloosa are going to go crazy.
Mike Norvell's high-fiving already on the sidelines. He's smiling. And just for, the redemption story there, I mean, the fact that FSU is the laughingstock of college football, it started last year in week 0. Georgia Tech beats them over in Ireland. And everybody's just talking about how long he will be at FSU, who's the next coach at FSU. Big bounce back for him. Let's talk about the biggest story of the day, and I want to get a big reaction from you guys. Our one big reaction, of course, everyone is talking about Arch Manning. We got memes galore. We'll get into the memes on Wednesday. We will break down all the many memes that we have seen. But here's my favorite tweet, and Bill Simmons, our boss, reached out to us and wanted to get one big reaction from both you guys. Yeah,
I'm a contractor.
I didn't know. I thought that.
I don't know.
You don't get the nice Spotify health insurance.
I'm a contractor. I gotta ask permission for everything. I gotta ask permission to have a little badge. I gotta ask permission for all of that. I don't know what y'all talking about there.
How about our confidant?
Yeah, bro. You don't get the Spotify health insurance benefits and everything.
Man, I'm paying that shit like Cobra. Like I'm paying that shit. Like I'm doing all this shit by myself. But whatever,
hey, you're working hard.
I feel you.
But regardless, you got to give the reaction. One big reaction. Orlovsky puts the tweet out this, quote, imagine having a generational quarterback, a talent at quarterback, and having the training wheels on all game long. So the question is this, and I want to get the reaction from you guys. If you had to bet one or the other based on the first impression of his first start, Arch Manning, generational talent, generational bust. Van, I turn to you. Bust or talent? Or somewhere in the middle, maybe, I guess could be another.
I don't know if he's a bust or a talent. I do know that tweet is fucking ridiculous. That's a ridiculous tweet.
Delete. Bro. That's a generational tweet.
That is definitely a generational tweet. Man, no disrespect directed towards Dan. He does a great job. I enjoy watching him. We just don't have any reason at all to call Arch Manning a generational talent yet. There's just no reason. We keep looking for a reason. And we keep hoping that the reason will present itself. But it hasn't happened yet. I'm not saying it won't happen. You could look at this game, right, and pull it apart in many different ways and give explanations as to why Arch didn't play well today, why the Texas offense didn't play well today, while it seemed like Ohio State was a little bit more ready to play, a little bit more comfortable in the scheme that they were running today, right? You could do all of that stuff. But all I know is that Cam Newton wasn't on that field. That's a fact. The kind of guy that you can.
Neither was Tim Tebow, right? That's who he kept getting compared to. Paul Finebaum said he's the most talented player since Tim Tebow.
The kind of guy you could get a ball and be like, "Hey, go win the game." Go win the game. You're unstoppable when you run. You do things off platform to break the defense down and make incredible plays. None of that happened today, and who knows if it's going to happen? But it didn't. So, to use the term, and I'm assuming that he's talking about Arch here, generational quarterback, to describe him after you watch what you watched is absurd. I'm sorry, man. It's absurd. And it's kind of like the capture. It's indicative of the capture that the hype around Arch Manning has had over everyone, which is also the reason why they went so hard on him today when he's just a kid in his first start having a poor game.
But he's not a true freshman either. And I think that's the other part where people feel a little bit more emboldened because they're like, hey, he's been on campus for 3 years now. He's sat behind Quinn Ewers for 2 years. We remember Steve Spurrier during the offseason said, if he was so good, why did he play behind Quinn Ewers, which Texas fans got very upset about. But Joel, bust or talent, what are your thoughts on Arch after first impression?
Well, I mean, I think if you have to pick between one of the either or, it has to be generational bust. Like we haven't seen anything that suggests that he's on the level of Michael Vick, Cam Newton.
Aggregate it. Perfect.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm serious. Like we have not seen anything. The things that people point to that when people say that he is great, it goes back to high school. Well, what are, I mean, I guess I don't, that he didn't win a state championship down there either, right? So I'm trying to figure out, like, when you say he's a generational
Van got
talent.
triggered by that Newman chat.
Yeah, the Newman shot. Yeah,
I don't
man.
give a fuck about Newman.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, what are you pointing to? But maybe that's unfair. Like, that's just one tweet or whatever, right? Like, but coming into this game, right? Like, if you say he played behind Quinn Ewers, why couldn't he beat out Quinn Ewers? I think that's just sort of disingenuous. Like, Quinn Ewers was the more experienced quarterback. They made some promises to him, right? Like, and he was a good enough quarterback at that point that you didn't have to rush Arch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if
Florida
you
State won, by the way. They just took a knee. They're rushing the
off.
field.
I'll
Yeah.
see, man. Yeah,
That's by the way, legitimate field rush. Like, we're gonna count
Like an earned field
We're
rush.
gonna count the fake field rushes that happen throughout the season. That's a legitimate field rush right there. You beat the number eight team after the year they had last year. This is one of the biggest wins in Mike Norvell's history. That's a legitimate field rush.
Unranked Florida State doing this, man. Okay, I'm finally getting the field rush. My stream is behind y'all a little bit. But yeah, what I'll just say to
Back to Arch,
off,
yeah.
is that so I had not seen a lot of evidence that Arch Manning was the quarterback that everybody said he was prior to this, right? But the one thing that I did not think would happen was this. Like, it never occurred to me that he could play that poorly. Like, I knew that he was in a tough spot. Like, you're playing on the road against a national champion, the defending national champion, whatever. And then it's not like, I mean, and we can talk about this later, but it's not like Texas has like a bunch of great skill position talent around him either, right? Like, I mean, his leading receiver today was what's old boy, the 3-star out of
Their skill position
out of
talent
DFW.
Their skill position talent is pretty good.
You think so?
I do.
Like, did you look you looked at all those guys and were like, oh yeah, like I'm scared of this cat. What's that guy's name? He's a 6'4" cat out of DFW area. I had his name down here anyway. But anyway, I'm looking at that and I'm like, he was in a bad spot. I don't want to read too much into just one game. He's not going to play a better defense than that. He's not going to be thrust in the same situation as that again. But again, I've not seen any evidence that he is generational. And so maybe he'll compile that the rest of the week. He gets to play like UTEP and all these other motherfuckers the rest
Grambling
of the
next week, yeah.
Grambling next week. So we're going to see some stuff. He's going to put some stuff on tape that's going to make us think, oh yeah, that Arch, that's what they say he is. But like so far right now, I don't know how you could say that. And it is telling though that Sark didn't like cut loose with him either. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So a couple of things I'll say. One is, okay, so if we look at some of the players that we're comparing him to, Tim Tebow did not start his freshman year in Florida. However, he was used in the offense a lot. It was clear that Urban Meyer saw something in Tim Tebow that he wanted to get on the football field, like right away. Mm-hmm. Did not want to have to wait to utilize Tim Tebow until after Chris Leak, who I think it was there when Tebow was on, until after
Chris Leak.
Until after Chris Leak was gone. I remember specifically the jump pass against LSU in a game that we lost and that whatever. There was something there. There was a way he wasn't going to become the starter, but you couldn't keep him off the field. All right. But I will say something else, man. If we go back and look at some of the quarterbacks that have really dominated the sport, Cam Newton is the only guy that I can remember showed up on campus, his first year, his only year, and just went crazy.
Right.
And just went nuts. If you think about Jaden Daniels, the first year that he was at LSU, was still figuring it out. If you think about Joe Burrow, I'm looking at the numbers right now. Joe Burrow goes from his first year at LSU, 2,900 yards passing, 16 TDs and 5 interceptions, to the next year, 5,600 yards passing, 60 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Like, they explode after they've had a year in the offense, if they've had a year to kind of get everything in their brain. They get better time with their receivers. They get more. It happens that way for a lot of the quarterbacks that we see as elite quarterbacks. There are other guys who exploded out of the scene the first time they get their chance. Johnny Manziel is another one of those guys. You know, they're guys, but I wouldn't say that Arch is a bust right now, because just like we don't have enough football on him, enough tape on him, enough reps on him, enough game situations on him to say that he's a generational talent, we also don't have enough to say that he's a generational bust. He's a quarterback who's going to need some time. To Tate's point, man, Sark seemed like he thought that Arch Manning was limited.
Yep.
And that is a more interesting thing than anything else to me that happened in the game. He called the game like he thought he had a limited quarterback, not like he thought he had a generational talent or somebody that could win a game with his arm or with his legs.
Well, that's the thing, sir. I have not seen that. None of us have seen that much Arch Manning. Like, did y'all watch the Mississippi State start last year? I did not.
I watched every snap he took last year. Yeah.
Okay. See, man, I missed that last year. Okay. I didn't see that game. I didn't get my all 22 on that. But I had seen enough of him playing that I was like, okay, I kind of reasonably expect what we're going to get. And then actually, Van, it was your boy. Your boy was the one that got me fucked up on this.
What the fuck?
Coach Orgeron. Ed Orgeron was on that, and he said, I saw him say this a couple of weeks ago. He said, oh no, he's the real deal. He's as good. He said he's as good as Joey. He's as good. I haven't seen anybody as good as him since Joe Burrow. And I'm like, oh well, shit. Coach Orgeron, if he knows anything, he knows talent. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm ready for dude to cut loose. And that's the thing. It's not like Arch Manning, it's not even that they didn't, give him the offense. He looked bad. Like the throws he was skipping, he missed a bunch of passes. That little drag to Wingo or whatever a couple times, like he could not complete that shit all day long.
Well, there were two plays. There were 2 throws, one for a touchdown and another one for a first down, where Wingo would have had an opportunity to run for a while, that he just straight. He not only did he miss the throw, people miss throws, but the mechanics of the throw, he threw off platform. He just looked off, looked bad, and like that's
he had happy feet all day. Yeah. Like he never settled in and like took a step up. It felt like he was kind of reeling. I mean, even the first play, right? They roll him out of the pocket. He has a wide open pass and he short arms it. Yeah, and it one hops to his receiver. I think to me that was why Sark changed kind of course a little bit, where he's like, oh wait a second, he might be feeling it in this environment, and then they kind of course corrected from there.
I mean, look, as I watched the game, which we got to say was a fucking dud. Tough game.
Yeah, snooze.
A
lot of hype.
It was a tough. It was a dud compared.
I mean, it was
to
great for Ohio State fans,
right?
Yeah.
And one thing that's not going to happen, that never happens when we get locked into a narrative, is nobody's going to give credit to Ohio State. I thought Sand looked good. I thought actually he probably could have done more. I saw him throw the ball crisply. I saw him be decisive with the football.
Had huge drops too, Van. I mean, hit guys in the hands.
Drops. Yeah. And I also saw a defense by Matt Patricia that seemed like they were able to exploit some of the limitations that Arch has right now. I mean, it seemed like to me, Matt Patricia's, we'll dive into it a little bit more. The game just happened earlier today, as we get film, a couple of breakdowns and all of that stuff. But it seemed like to me, Matt Patricia said, hey, I'm going to sit in this specific coverage shell and make you make reads to beat us. Like, you're not going to be able to beat us with a cleaver. You're going to have to beat us with a scalpel. You're going to have to make these throws in these windows on schedule, on platform at the right time. And he outcoached defensively Sark's play calling offensively. Offensively, Ryan Day didn't have to do a whole lot. They didn't really have to get into their bag deep at all. But the defense that Ohio State played with all the guys that they have on defense, I thought was phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, the guy that I was thinking of, Parker Livingstone, that was
Yeah.
the receiver I was thinking of for Texas. Okay.
Yeah, I
But
saw he was tweeting Jordan Shipley highlights before the game, which I
yeah,
thought that was nice.
yeah, I mean, like, I mean, he's fine, but again, I didn't think. But no, to Van's point, Ohio State looked really, really good. But you know what I thought the most impressive unit on the field was today? Texas's defense. I
Mm.
thought Texas defense looked really good, man. Like,
I
I mean,
thought both D lines. Yeah.
Ohio State couldn't get anything going running. Like, that's the thing I'm thinking about. Like, if you're Ohio State, like, you're not going to face another defensive line like that probably most of the year. You know, maybe you may be Michigan or whatever, but like you're probably not going to face a little bit like, man, they did not get anything going in the run game. And we can talk about this later too, but you know, so I remember when Jalen Rager is at TCU, and I know he became a meme and a joke, you know, Jalen Rager, you know,
Yeah.
when he went to the league or whatever, right?
Well, he
But
was the Justin Jefferson, right? That was like the Vikings front office. They were like laughing that they took Rager instead of Justin Jefferson,
Told
right?
you guys. I
yeah,
told you guys. I told you
Yeah.
guys.
Not Rager's fault, by the way.
not Rager's fault. But Rager was, I thought at the time, Rager was maybe the best athlete at TCU since LaDainian Tomlinson when he signed at TCU. He was great, really good receiver, just amazing receiver. And Max Duggan was his quarterback. And I remember he'd be running cardio basically most of the games. He'd be so pissed. You'd see him out there, but he would hold it together. And I'm like, I was giving him credit for not getting mad at the quarterback. And that's how I felt about Jeremiah Smith today. But like, with the opposite, it's like, oh no, Jeremiah Smith is like showing frustration already. It's week one. And he's already showing frustration out there, mad, dropping passes. That's not the guy we were told he was. That's not the guy that we saw that he was last year. And I'm like, man, that's not a great sign that already he's frustrated, you know?
I want to say something about Parker Livingstone, man. I'm looking at Parker Livingstone.
Okay, see?
I just want to make sure, because I feel like, Joe, I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh no, don't you
Joe, I'm going to be honest with you, bro.
I know
I
what you're
feel
about to
like
do.
if his name was Demarius Livingstone, that maybe you
like
wouldn't
his
have.
game.
Maybe you like his game. Parker ran the 200 and he ran the 100. Parker a dog, man. Parker was. I'm looking at.
Wait. No, wait. Read his times though. Read
So
Livingstone's
Parker
times.
Livingstone, his 200 time is 21.6.
That was good. That's
Okay.
a good time. What about the 100 time though?
Okay, the 100 time is, it looks like it's 11.7 in the 100.
Come dog, man. That is.
What?
Yeah, I mean, you barely beat 14-year-olds.
Wait,
Running at 11.7.
but he was a dog, and I just want to shout out Parker Livingstone because I don't want, I got a certain reputation. I want to say I think Parker Livingstone is pretty. I think he was his best receiver today. I think Parker Livingstone.
I thought he should have gone to him more.
Yeah, I thought he was his best receiver today.
Which I think only proves my point that I didn't look out there at the University of Texas. I didn't see no Roy Williams out there.
You
know
didn't
what I
see
mean?
Matthew Golden, right?
I didn't see Matthew Golden out there. I was like, all right, who I got to be scared about out here? Parker 11.7, bro. 11.7. That's a middle school
But
time.
Wingo can fly like they.
I would try to scrub that from the internet if I were Parker Livingstone.
Oh my
The
God!
21.6.
know.
Did you run it
The
at
21
11.7?
Hell yeah, man! I ran a 10.7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
Joel said
Parker
strap
Livingstone.
up.
Yeah, man, 10.7. I wouldn't even think if you ran 11.7, I'd be like, that's JV track time. That is not a varsity track time.
Yeah, I ran, I think, a 10.5. 10.5 minutes. It was minutes. So listen, I was like, get on that trick. What the hell y'all talking
What did you
about?
say,
But look,
bro?
all kinds of observations about the game, and something about Jeremiah Smith that we have to kind of be honest about. This is not the first time that Jeremiah Smith has been handled in a slightly big game. The last time Ohio State played Texas, they were able to limit Jeremiah Smith. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith was limited in the Michigan game last year. So, he's a receiver, and we've seen this. We've seen more of this. We saw this with a couple of games today, right? We saw Jeremiah Smith at receiver have some struggles. Tate did a little bit better because it seemed like the focus was on stopping Smith, and Tate was able to take advantage of some one-on-ones. So not that Smith had a terrible game, but he did not dominate in the way that people thought that he was going to dominate. But across the country, with some of these big-name receivers that exist in college football, Ryan Williams in the Alabama game, the scheme has to be right. The quarterback has to be able to get the ball out. You might be getting to a point to where at some point in this season that Ryan Williams is looking at pictures of Jalen Milroe and going, oh my God,
Yeah, I miss
where
you,
is
bro.
my guy? I miss you, brother. Or Ty gets it together, and that's not what's going to happen. But all over the country, we had unproven quarterbacks that were coming into situations, making their first starts and leading their teams for the first time. And your weapons are obviously a big part of that. Makes quarterback's life easier. But for a lot of these guys, they're going to have to build on-field chemistry with these QBs. These QBs are going to have to get comfortable in these offenses before we start seeing some of the production that we expect from them.
Yeah, and Jeremy Bernard looked like the number one guy for Alabama.
Absolutely.
I mean,
That's right.
It definitely
Absolutely.
felt like he was the number one target for Ty Simpson. And obviously, you could see the emotion after the game from Ty Simpson. We joked about the fact that he got the job for loyalty, but obviously, this is a guy that, he's all in on Alabama football. And not the way you want to open up your kind of, career as a starting QB. Same can be said for Arch. But I got a first fact for you because this guy did start it out, in a good way. Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin is the first QB to beat the AP number one team in his first career start since Jim Harbaugh. We had that stat on Wednesday, and we were saying that it probably wouldn't happen because it hasn't happened often. So Julian Sayin will be the coach of the Chargers in about 25 to 30 years. But for now, he is the quarterback of the Ohio State Buckeyes. He was impressive, right? I mean, the touchdown pass to Tate, a little bit underthrown, but again, it all kind of works out. And he kind of controlled the game for the most part. Joe, were you impressed with Julian Sayin? And do you think that Orlovsky was tweeting about him and not Arch Manning? Because that could be the cop-out.
Well, no, see, actually, I'm surprised that y'all thought Julian Sayin was so good. I mean, look, I thought he was okay, right? And obviously he did what he had to do. I mean, what did you all see? He threw for 126 yards.
But
You know what I mean?
give
Like,
us his entire line. He threw for 100. Joel is like,
I'm just saying, what
Joel
am I-
is the Simon Cowell of college football. There's nothing that you can do to impress Joel. Joe, like he threw the ball. He threw the ball
No,
with
okay,
great
okay.
I'll be
pace,
Paul
and
Abdul.
he made
No, man, no. The context to this is what I'll say is that we've gotten used to like 26-year-old dudes being quarterbacks in college, and they come in ready-made, products. Like they come out there, they're already sort of polished, and they've got experience, and they're going to do well. And so maybe this is just a whole nother era of football where it's going to be a young guy, and we're going to watch him take his lumps, and then eventually it'll be good. I think that if and when Ohio State and Texas play in January or something like that, neither of those guys are going to look like that, and that game is going to look a lot different, right? But right now they're really young.
I did want to ask you guys about that because we don't live in the old BCS model, obviously. Things have changed a lot. So losing one game doesn't dictate really the terms of your season. And as we saw last year, Ohio State basically got galvanized by a rivalry loss against Michigan, and they go into the national championship. So it's a little bit different than it used to be. Do you think this is could you spin this positively for Texas, Van? Would you say like, hey, we didn't show them who we really were, we didn't run our best stuff, and like when we see them again, we'll be ready to go?
No.
Fair point. I like it.
No.
That seems to be the cope right now. That seems to be the way.
So let me tell you, Joel is like, now who's
who's Simon Cowell? Yeah.
So let me tell you why. I'm not saying that Texas won't fix the team and fix the performance. I'm not saying that at all. But this game just was an array of things to fix. This game was poorly played at the quarterback position. It was poorly coached from an offensive standpoint. The defense,
especially on the goal line, right? I mean, that's
especially
really
on the goal line.
Oh
right?
man,
just the tush push play with Arch before. Once again, Texas gets down to the goal line. Ohio State did this too. Ohio State gets down to the goal line and they don't throw a pass with their quarterback inside of the 10-yard line. They end up scoring. Right, their offense was able to on fourth and goal. Their offense was able to make plays at timely times. Texas could not make those same plays, but also with the quarterback with the dimension in the run game like Arch, to not try to throw the football down there, to not try to get Arch in a situation where he can throw and run even before you get there, just says a lot about what they've seen. I'm talking about what they've seen in fall practice, what they've seen in spring, what they think they know about their team, right? And so if I'm a Texas fan, there's no way I'm off the bandwagon as far as the season goes. I think that Texas will still have a great season and will probably make the playoff. But unless they fix a bunch of things, they won't. because that team on the field today looked incredibly beatable. They looked incredibly beatable. There was not one area uh, I'm not talking about the blue chip percentage or any of those other things that we use, how many 4 and 5 stars. I'm talking about how the team played on the field. And they didn't play in any way to me that made me believe that this was a speed bump. This is a concern that has to be fixed. And we'll see if they can fix it and go on and be the team that a lot of people think that they will be.
Bruh, this is their schedule. They're going to cruise. They have so much more talent. Even Parker Livingstone is their top target. This is their schedule. UTEP, Sam Houston. Next week they got San Jose State. They're at Florida. That's questionable. Oklahoma, we never know. But Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vandy, and then they got Georgia. That'll be a tough one. In Arkansas, man, they're gonna win about 9-10 games, bro.
I mean, you're right.
Right.
They'll be all right until they. When the question is, this is another question: is R be all right? There be all right. Meaning, if they take advantage of the fact that they're going to out talent everybody on their schedule, they get to the playoff and they get their skulls kicked in by someone, or they lose another game. Will the Texas fan base be okay with that, with Arch in his first year starting, and then they come back with a more loaded team with Arch in another year, and they make a deeper run?
They should because that is the Texas experience. I mean, but for Vince Young, what do they have to hold on to where they say, "Oh, we're supposed to win that game, or we're supposed to be the national champions"? It's all in theory, but we've only
they believe
seen
it now.
Vince Young.
They believe it now. Now
Yeah.
they came into the season ranked number 1. They have what Dan Orlovsky says is a generational quarterback, what everyone thought was a generational quarterback. They have Sark, who has had this team knocking on the door for a couple of years now. They've been in the playoffs multiple times. Their fan base and Steve Sarkisian is looking to take the next step. I think that's pretty non-controversial that they think that should happen.
That's fair. That's fair. That is fair. But again, like I'm just looking at their history. This is the year that they're supposed to be number 1, and this is supposed to be the year they get over the hump. Maybe it will happen. But if they lose in the semifinals or in the final, that is everything that Texas has been my entire lifetime.
You guys want me to read some?
That is a Texas year.
You guys want me to read some post titles from the Alabama message board on SECrant.com right now?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Let's get some real time reactions.
Okay, here it is. It's time to go to Oxford and get Kiffin. How many?
Yes.
How many streets will DeBoer
now?
end?
Who posted that? Because it might have been L Kiffin 03. Yeah.
Bench tie now. Move on. Fire everyone.
Bench tie.
Is this 2001?
Wow.
Hot seat. FSU
Oof.
isn't even try good. Sunshine Pumpers thread. Come on in. Somebody trying to get positive. There is only one way forward. Ty Simpson isn't ready. He's missing throws Castellanos is making. DeBoer sucks. That much is evident. This program has been set back years. They're melting down over there. The Alabama fans are melting down in real time.
I mean, just the high they've been on for the last 20 years, man, and it's all just crumbling in front of them. Nick Saban lost some games. He never lost no game like that. Did Nick Saban ever lose a game like that in his entire time?
Maybe the first year,
to Louisiana Monroe.
No.
Other than
no,
Johnny Manziel, maybe, but they ended up being good.
What would be a game like that? Because think about it, right? So the Louisiana Monroe game is a game against far inferior competition. This game is against, I guess this would be closer to Johnny Manziel, but I mean, Texas A&M was probably this would be closer to that. But they ran up against an unstoppable buzzsaw of a QB. But no, to your point, once they got to the Alabama level, they didn't go out there and get fucked over by too many teams that didn't have the talent that they have. That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They never lost to somebody that they were supposed to beat. Like there was any game where they were the clear favorite, and it wasn't like a Georgia, it wasn't like LSU at its peak. They won those games, and they punished those teams. It wasn't just.
I was going to say, you would see the spread, and it's like 56.5, and you're like, "There's no way they're going to beat Duke 63-0," and they would,
Remember the year that USC had to bring in Sam Darnold because they made USC look like the Citadel or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like that already we've had enough game. We've had enough games in the Kaylin DeBoer era that I'm like, ooh,
Vandy last year.
that's not.
Vandy
Yeah, man.
last year. When you look at
Yeah,
Vandy last
Pavia.
year,
This is Vandy.
Diego Pavia, not that different a quarterback from little moxie, got the arm, will run, not afraid. Bama cannot bully people. They're not scared. That might be the biggest takeaway from the Kaylin DeBoer era to the Knicks. I keep saying that. They're just not scared. He was out there. He's talking that type of shit to them before the game. Then he gets
Right.
out in the game and he makes that big throw. We were all talking. I'm like, oh my God, here he comes. He's looking at the crowd. He's like, yeah, I like that. That's what I want. That's what I like. And they could not punch back. They could not punch back to get this kid off their ass. So it's interesting. Look, we've had the biggest shocks that we've had, man. We haven't. You were wrong, Joel, about this game, but you were right about Boise State. So I gotta say, right now, Ringer Tailgate, man, we making some predictions out here. I predicted this game as far as Bama. I told you guys.
That's right, man. Actually, Van, you know what, bro? That's right. I did not give you your props like you gave me. Van texted me. It was like I felt like I got knighted during the Boise game. It was like third quarter, and he's like, Joel, and I'm like, oh man, what Van want, man? I was like, what's up? It's like, you know ball, man. You know ball.
Yeah. Is that the nicest thing you can say to anybody, right?
That was what I was
Yeah.
like, I appreciate
sweet.
that, brother. And I didn't give you your props for this Florida State call because there's no way that I thought this was even possible. So
Yeah, this game is gonna turn everybody on its ass. Tate, can we read, since we're reading tweets, can we read Ric Flair's tweet?
Oh yeah, we can pull that up. Ric Flair is on fire right now. Because this is fascinating too. Like there is a lot of media warfare that is happening. You know what I mean? Just in general, because Paul Finebaum, I mean, he's had the tweets, he's had the takes. Jordan Rogers was kind of the only guy that we saw yesterday that had any sort of pushback. Let me find this Ric Flair.
So
tweet
I don't
here.
know why Ric Flair, the nature boy Ric Flair, just gave Paul Finebaum the
business.
fucking business. Because Paul Finebaum has been Arch's biggest pom-pom waiver. He loves the Mannings.
I mean, yeah. What do you think? Is Ric Flair like a known college fan? I don't keep up with Ric Flair no more. But like, does he have a team? He's in like North Carolina, right? That's your part of the woods, Tate.
I think he likes like Alabama
same.
or something. I think he's an SEC guy. Here's what he tweeted. He said, "Dear Mister," and he added him too. So you got to give some respect. You know what I mean? At Finebaum, as usual, he's capitalizing every word. By the way, like which is also it just feels like very Trumpian to do, but you know something funny. As usual, you are the most absurd and incompetent analyst in all of college football. I'll take Heather Dinich. Shout out Heather Dinich. Any day over you. You should be expelled from ESPN. Every time I see you on the TV, I turn it off. You have 22,000 followers. I have 9.3 million followers, just to give a little flex in the middle here. Back to the point. The fact that you would call out Jim Harbaugh and also tag Jim Harbaugh, so I'm sure that Coach Harbaugh appreciated that last year, and say that he will never be able to coach in the pros, and now he would probably win a Super Bowl. And the fact that you are predicting that Texas will murder Ohio State is insane. Go look in the mirror and find something else to do for a living. Man. So embarrassing. He didn't just leave it there. He added like another little kick while you're down. So yeah, Ric Flair is fired up. He's back outside.
The Ric Flair play. I wonder if he pays for his premium account. Yeah, because that was more than the average. That was more than the 250 word limit, right? Like
he's got the blue check.
He's got the blue check.
It's a paid for it. Okay. Yeah, it's a paid for check. Yeah, I got to make sure he's got room.
I do think that some of the backlash that
shout out to Jay Stu, by the way, Jonathan Stewart, former Oregon running back, Panthers running back. He just responded and said, "Let him know, Rick."
Man.
I think a lot of this backlash is because, man, people don't like to be sold a dream when it comes to sports, man. There's one thing, one specific type, one genre of disappointment that gets in people's craw more than anything else, and that's sports disappointment. And we all gonna feel it. Mm-hmm. Our teams disappoint, our coaches disappoint. But when someone has been told that somebody is the best thing since sliced bread, which I always wonder when people say that. I mean, before Was they
Yo,
just ripping the bread off and like
no,
eat?
No, it was just a loaf that wasn't cut, and then
no,
I think
bro.
everybody
Yeah,
was
it was
like,
just a
"We
big
need to,
loaf.
yeah, we need to
So then
cut
what
this
would you do with the
bread."
bread? Could you make a sandwich?
You would cut it. You would
You had
cut
to
it,
cut a piece off.
Oh,
and it
you
would
would
be
cut the bread.
uneven.
Wait,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wait,
They
wait.
sold it just as a loaf, not sliced.
I get that. I understand that. So what they're saying is the best thing
I think
since
it's
sliced bread
1908
is when
it
people
changed.
say,
Yeah.
hold on real quick. So when people say, when people are talking about the best thing, it's just because they was too lazy to slice the bread themselves. They were slicing the bread.
I mean, I think they were slicing their hand, like, because bread's hard to like keep stable. You know what I mean, and do like a clean cut. That was
Right.
sort of the
You're
issue.
not getting
So
a good,
people
a
getting
good
injured.
slice every time. One.
The sliced
Yeah.
bread is uniform and all of that. So that's
Uniform. They have a butt of the bread that the butts,
the
cut,
booty of the
like in
bread.
the small,
We never
booty
eat
of the
it.
bread. Yeah,
Yeah.
never eat
I
it. Throw
would
it
be
away.
more like the best thing since indoor plumbing.
Yeah.
You know?
There's something else that
They
you
need to
gotta say.
update it.
Yes, yeah.
The best
Yeah.
thing since air conditioning.
Man,
Sliced
Nick,
bread is one thing. Air conditioning fucks over sliced bread. Air conditioning is way better than
much more
sliced
important.
bread. Think about a
I'm
whole.
gonna say the best thing since YouTube TV. I mean, you know what I mean? Like YouTube TV is pretty great. I can go
Man.
anywhere. I can watch a game anywhere.
I actually am mad about YouTube TV, man. Man, it costs $82 a month. Did you
No,
know?
I don't like that. I don't like
Somebody
that.
told me that you used to be able to get this shit for $38 a month,
Tate.
man. And I'm like,
That's when I joined. Yeah. It's great.
So
see,
what's better, Tate? What's a better thing? A better piece of technology? YouTube TV or deodorant?
Ooh.
I mean, obviously deodorant. We need deodorant.
That's what I'm saying, Tate. We
Yeah.
in the fundamentals of humanity here
I
when we're
got
talking
you.
about the
I
sliced
got
bread. But back to the point.
I'm thinking about games.
You're right. So, but back to the point, and to be told that, and to have Arch go out there and not perform, I think a lot of people were ready to get their takes off, ready to get their jokes off at his expense. The best thing for him is that Texas now gets to go and play a couple of teams where the spotlight won't be as bright. He gets to have a couple of glorified live fire, live action practice sessions, and they should be able to work out whatever the kinks are in the offense and get the best out of him when it's time for another big test to come in.
Yeah, social media just like to make fun of people, man.
They do.
If you get your ass beat,
Yeah.
I always just think about like the time Manny Pacquiao got knocked out. You know, it was like his fifth fight. This old boy, and I was just like,
Walmart case.
That's what it was. Hey, thank you. And if you're Manny Pacquiao, man, like man, if anybody should have built up enough credibility to not get made fun of, like it would seem like it'd be Manny Pacquiao, but he got his ass knocked out and people made jokes on him. So I mean, yeah, and people wanted to laugh at Arch. I don't even know if people don't dislike Arch, right? I don't even know if there's because I felt like in terms of like man, he kind of seemed like he had a little swag to him, man. Like he just got a little calm, he got some chill to him. So man, yeah, I think this will be an old distant memory by then. Now, will he be great? I have no idea, but we're at least going to be convinced that he's a lot better than he is today.
Oh
Probably
man,
a month or so.
The homophobia is popping out on the Bama board, Tate.
Oh no, that's not good.
They're talking about Ryan
good.
Williams and
They're talking about the finger. Yeah, the
painting
finger
of the
paint can go
nails,
back.
man.
Yeah,
The homophobia
right.
is popping out on the Bama board. Bama fans, don't let the bad thoughts win, man. It's one game. They on Ryan ass. They are so mad, brother.
They just need to comment like Blitz, Bama, Blitz, like all their sayings, all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Get it going. We got some comments coming in. This is Ryan Strong, and he is pointing out that we are overlooking what a terrible game that Sark coached. I do think that we need to point this out because Sark is a bit snake-bitten, especially on the goal line. And as much as Arch is taking the heat, Sark did kind of fuel the fire of the hype. You know what I mean? The only person that I saw try to temper the flames of the hype of Arch Manning was Archie Manning, right? Other than that, everybody else stoked the flames. So let's talk about Sark, Joel. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that's the thing is I think it all just comes back to what he thinks of his actual talent. His offensive line was kind of in shambles. Like one of the tackles is out, so they were missing a guy that they were really expecting to count on. They don't have like a dominating bell cow running back. Parker Livingstone is their top target. And Arch Manning is like, he's okay. Like he's all right. You know what I mean? But like we don't know. There's a lot we don't know about him in that environment. So I think he was being, but for the fourth down calls. Because that was, to me, that said to me was like, I don't want to keep giving Ohio State chances. Like I want to retain possession, right? But for that, I think he just said, you know what? If we have it close going into the fourth quarter, that's good enough for me under these circumstances. And he sort of coached in that way. I didn't think it was that bad of a game plan, but who am I to say?
Um, so look, Sark was bad today. He wasn't as creative. He wasn't as dynamic. The offense looked listless. It wasn't an offense that you're like off balance. Like, what are they gonna do next? He didn't seem to scheme up a lot of one-on-ones that were favorable for his guys. And when he did scheme up those one-on-one guys, Arch missed them. Um, he coached scared, to Joel's point. But the question is, what was he scared of? Like, what was he scared of? Like, and I think about this. Was he scared of losing the game? I doubt it. I doubt he was coaching scared of losing the game. Was he scared of Arch going into that game and that game being so damaging to his confidence, or so damaging to his moxie that he had problems getting him back? Maybe. Maybe he wasn't prepared to put his brand new shiny starter in a hostile situation against a really talented team and ask him to do all of the things that he might be capable of doing on his best day or at the top of his talent. And just was like, hey, like I said before the game, go into the game and be Trent Dilfer. Go into the game but Arch didn't even seem to be able to deliver like on that. So,
well, yeah, he wasn't even Trent Dilfer today.
Yeah, so the question is, what was Sark scared of? Sark knows his team. He knows his personnel. He wasn't as creative. He wasn't as daring. But no, there's no way to look at the game plan for me and say, oh my God. Like if I was showing someone who had never seen the Steve Sarkisian coach offense before, they wouldn't think that that was anything special at all.
See, you saying scared, and I'm thinking he's a guy that's like, I have a really good defense. They've got a freshman quarterback. I don't have to do too much. So, and all coaches, and they're all sort of a stereotype in this way. They all are just so deathly afraid of turnovers. And they're like, as long as we just retain the ball, we don't give them easy scores, like we keep the ball and play field position the rest of the game, then they'll do it. And I think that that's just what he did. He's like, I don't have the talent, or I don't feel like in this game that I can cut loose. But I do think that if I play close to the vest, I let my defense control things for a little bit, maybe a turnover will go my way or something like that, or Arch will catch fire. That's what I thought. I didn't think he was scared. I just thought
I hear you.
Like,
that just doesn't explain the 4th and 1 call. That just doesn't explain the 4th and 1 call. That doesn't explain roll out, run pass. I'm not going to tell Steve Sarkisian how to coach football. Okay. All right. I'm the porn guy at the Ringer. I'm not going to tell him how to coach football. But it doesn't explain, like, even when I saw that, I'm like, man, we're going tush push with a quarterback that's a little light in the ass on the one. There's not anything that they had dialed up before
and did it on 4th down in the middle of the field on the first drive, right? I mean, both of those calls were strange. And then the weirdest part to me, if you watched them last year, Arch was kind of like the short yardage specialist.
Right.
So it's like he already had faith in him to come in and do those plays last year when Quinn was under center. So it's like, why would he be more reserved now that he's the starting guy? But then also put the ball in his hands and make him look bad. And if you just watch Arch on those kind of pushes, he's not even close.
No.
I mean, he's a yard behind. Like he's not even close.
Right. So
wait, run, dog.
So I mean, Arch and the O-line as well. So it seemed like at a point that this was a game that Texas, I don't want to say that they weren't fully up for it, but I just feel like at points watching this game that this wasn't a game that Texas felt like they had to win. Like that they had to win, you know?
That's like the big picture kind of, big, if you're trying to really be like, are they playing a game? Like, is this gamesmanship from Texas where they didn't show their full hand because they know they're going to see them again? I mean, I would find that a little bit disingenuous, especially you would think coming off what we saw in the playoff where Ewers has the pick six to his former roommate, you know what I mean? That whole sort of thing. One other question that we have in the chat, Van, people are interested and want to hear your thoughts. By the way, Clemson LSU is starting
I'm saying
right
it. I'm
now.
watching. I got it right here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Caden Durant had a
LSU,
nice little run.
yeah, LSU is moving the ball right now. That is,
Oh, no,
to
Daddy.
say the least.
Oh, Father.
they're moving. John Summerall, Tulane's head coach, he had some thoughts. Paul, the Lap Saints fan, wants to get your thoughts on this, Van. Here's what he said. When you disrespect the city of New Orleans, you're going to run into it. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but don't disrespect the city of New Orleans. Now, if you don't know the story, they wanted to wear the white uniforms to honor 2005 after Katrina. They wore the Tulane white uniforms. Northwestern, I guess, said that they were going to wear their away white, so they weren't going to let them wear white. And then Tulane proceeded to whoop their ass. So, Van, your thoughts on the quote from Summerall and just Tulane kind of handling business?
Shout out to Tulane, man. There used to be a rivalry between Tulane and LSU, but the reality is that they get busy down there. It is the school that educates the governors of Louisiana. Sneaky, amazing school. You know what I mean? So shout out to Tulane. And the reality is this, man. Sometimes it's more about it's about more than football, should I say? If you are from South Louisiana and you were around, I was 25 when Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005. And it was a life-changing experience for everyone down there. I knew people that never recovered from that. I knew people that were jettisoned from their homes and were not able to come back. I'm not going to wax poetic about Hurricane Katrina. But what I'm going to say is football is one thing, but letting people kind of express their remembrance and their sorrow.
And pay homage, right?
Pay homage to what's going on. That would have been the classy move. They chose not to be classy, and they got put it on that assy. And I'm happy that happened. So shout out to Tulane. Shout out to everybody
the Green Wave
at my home state, in my home state that's going through it right now. But we still here, man.
Yeah, shout out. I like the question there. One other note that has been pointed out, they wanted to get our thoughts. Devin Hester Jr. had a 75-yard kickoff return for Furman.
Furman?
Yeah, Furman. Yeah, Furman.
South Carolina.
Yeah, they have Furman has the helmets that say "F you" all the time on the back. That's probably the best in college football. But yeah, Devin Hester Jr. having a great moment. That was good to see. You love to see that. Van, do you feel like watching the game while you're on the air? Is that throwing you off? Like, I mean, how do you feel about that?
No. Actually,
that would be a lot for me.
It's actually helping me with my anxiety. Because
okay,
I'll do all kinds of crazy things during the LSU game. If it's like a crucial 3rd and 5, I'll turn the TV off.
Yeah,
I'll turn the TV
go
all
where
the
you
way
go,
off.
do what you do.
I'll turn the TV all the way off. But no, so when I saw that Devin Hester, if Devin Jr. pop a couple more like that, transfer portal gonna be calling, baby.
Oh yeah, it'll be in South Carolina, Clemson.
South Carolina, Clemson, but Miami, man, you got us. Miami, just for the love of the game. Just for the love of the game. Don't you have to go get Devin Hester Jr. if you're the Hurricanes, man?
That's kind of why I was surprised. Like, man, he's at Furman, huh? Not, good institution, good football program, a whole nine. But I just thought Devin Hester Jr. might, be at least Miami.
Are we not going to talk about
how the names work? Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Are we not going to talk about Colorado at all?
If you want to, should we do Coach Prime versus Coach Belichick? It seems like you've already flipped the coin. You want to talk about Coach Prime. Should we talk about the timeouts? Should we talk about, they looked like they were having fun, at least, Van, for a little while on Friday.
It looked like
they were having fun.
That's the best.
They looked like they were having fun out there. Look, they sent me sunglasses.
You've been bought. Tate's been bought.
That's how it works.
His glasses work, man.
Tate's been bought. Tate's been bought. They've given him.
No, but Haynes King, as soon as Haynes King starts looking hurt, that's when he goes Super Saiyan. That's when he goes to the next level. I don't know what Marvel character that would be. The Hulk. I don't know if it's like Bane or something. But you start hitting Haynes King, he goes to a different level, and he ended that game. But Coach Prime got a lot of flack, obviously, for the timeouts. He said the timeouts didn't matter. But Joel, your thoughts on that?
Well, so I kind of thought Caden Salter is the quarterback now, the transfer from Liberty, and I thought he was okay. He flashed some talent. He's got some speed. Obviously, he's got a very strong arm.
Big arm, yeah.
Big arm. But I was in that fourth quarter. I was like, man, you kind of too old to be playing like this, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you should be
Felt like
better
the first
in this
time he was in
situation with
situational
time.
football. Yeah,
Running all the way across the fucking field, instead of just going down, taking the first down and stopping the clock. There was a time that he missed a running back coming out of the backfield in the shadow of the goal line, and he got mad at the running back. It was like, no, bro, but that dude was wide open. You could just have hit him, right? Like I'm looking at that guy and I'm just like, well, is that a Dion fault or is that I got this guy as my starting quarterback fault right now? And it's just like he kind of fucked it up for us, and I didn't really get a chance to do the late game management I wanted to do because that dude spent 20 seconds running horizontally.
Yeah.
Was it a win for Shador that happening, man?
You know what's funny is that yeah, it was. Shador used to thrive. He thrived in those late game situations. You saw him pull a couple of those off. But man, I saw Salter do some things that I'm like, wow. If used correctly, he's got an incredibly live arm. He's very sudden. He missed some throws, but if he's being coached right and being used right, he could be a little bit of a weapon. I was incredibly impressed with Haynes King. Georgia Tech turned the ball over 3 times in the first quarter, should I say, and still was able to take control of that game on the offensive side of the ball. Haynes King played great, put the game away. At the same time, I'm watching Haynes King. I'm watching Jackson Arnold. I'm two-screening it. Haynes King, Jackson Arnold, white boys running everywhere. I'm talking about just all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
The Bradley Van Pelt generation.
The Bradley Van Pelt generation. Joe probably won't give him credit for it.
I want to see them boys have to throw from the pocket. I don't want them to lean on their athleticism. I want to see them. I want to see them sit in the pocket.
I want them to play the position.
Stand there and make a throw. Yeah, play the position the way it's supposed to be played.
But I was happy for Jackson Arnold, man. I'm obviously nonplussed to see Auburn be the Iron Bowl is going to be some shit this year. I was nonplussed to see Auburn look competent, but Jackson Arnold and everything, all the trouble that he had, or on-field trouble that he had, being good or figuring out his way at Oklahoma, and now to see him at Auburn doing good things, to see Haynes King doing it was fun. It was fun football.
Well,
it was a fun Friday night.
Yeah, and I was going to say the thing about Haynes King too, and that's the difference between the Arch Manning thing and Haynes King is a grown ass man. If you told me Haynes King is married and has like a 2-year-old, I'd probably believe it. But he went on the road in a tough spot and played a good game, like for the first game of the year. And like that's so like with the Arch thing and the Julian Sand thing, you say those are really young guys, not a lot of experience. They're still learning their way, and they also had to play incredibly talented defenses. Where for Haynes King, you got an older guy there. He's been in pretty much every situation you can be in college football, and he showed up in a big spot. So yeah, man. Like I said, though, I kind of wouldn't mind seeing these guys have to throw a little bit. I mean, at what point are we going to see them, read a defense?
Look, I'm here with these brothers, man.
I'm
with these
Don't worry,
brothers,
Van's got their back.
I got their backs. These are some guys there in there early in the morning. The first people in there, they're folk heroes. They work out with the linemen. They do all the little things,
Josh
right?
Allen.
They all, you know what I mean? They love God. They love country. I'm in it with these brothers.
Yeah, they're locked in. They know what they're doing. This game is happening right now in real time. LSU, Clemson. Just general thoughts, feedback, first impressions of this game. Really hasn't settled in yet. A lot of these big games today, it's taken a couple drives. Obviously, it's week 1. We talked about maybe a preseason, but have you seen anything yet, Van, that gets you excited, makes you feel good? We've had some people calling about Howard Rock and how they don't like the tradition and how Clemson is lame. So I think that's trying to suck up to you a little bit. But any thoughts on what we've seen so far in this game?
I've seen LSU be willing to run the ball a little bit and trying to establish the run. If they can do that consistently, not only in this game, but throughout this year, I think we're going to have a better season than we did last year. We're going to have to see how the offensive line comes together to see, just how explosive the offense can be. We are without a transfer safety, AJ Halsey, because Clemson ratted
They snitched on y'all, man.
They snitched. Snitching ass Clemson.
Now they're pointing the fingers at different people saying it wasn't them. Yeah,
they
all types
snitched.
of stuff happening.
We give them a Happy Meal, put them on the fucking first 48. Clemson is a bunch of snitches, right? And all of
Could this be a Gunna situation where like we think they're snitches now and then it comes out later that they weren't the snitches?
Look,
I'll
tell you something about all of that. I'll just be honest with you about all of that. I'm a regular civilian. You know, I got guns around here if y'all want to see them, but I'm a regular civilian. So look, I don't have anything to say about any guys, any rappers from Atlanta snitching, but I will say
smart
snitching when it's 15, 20, 30 years on the line is one thing. Snitching when you trying to get somebody to sit a half of football, man, you are.
That's low.
You got to do actually, though, you kind of got to do it.
I don't believe
it. You kind of got to do it.
I don't believe in it. Man.
Also, like if Clemson actually did this, I mean, shout out to that staff. I mean, spot on.
Definitely in the scout, right? Like they were
yeah.
watching that game, and then they saw him get thrown out of that game, and then they were like, "Wait a second, shouldn't he have to sit out a half?" It just feels like one of those things in the room as they're scouting. They're like, "Yeah, look that up." You know what I mean?
You're scouting, so you're scouting for LSU. But the clip you've got to find is BYU versus University of Houston. Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, man, whatever they're paying that staff, kudos to them, Dabo, because you know.
The thing that I do respect about it though is it is something that Brian Kelly would do.
Oh yeah, you know he was sick. He was sick.
Damn. It got my ass, dog.
He's probably mad he didn't know that he was going to have to sit out a half while he recruited him. You know?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's on us, right? Like, we should have known. It fell through the cracks at LSU, and Clemson was swarmy enough, skeezy enough to bring it up and try to affect the game that way, and it worked. But we should have known it. LSU should have known it. So at the end of the day, the staff, when you recruit the guy and bring the guy in, you got to know what situation he's in from his ability to play, you know?
One thing I did want to ask, Bill Simmons loves the cross-off teams. We have the 12-team playoff. Are there any teams that were in the peripheral or kind of in the conversation for the playoff, in our opinions, after week 0, after week 1, that we would consider quote-unquote cross-off teams? We're not quite there yet, right?
Alabama.
Really?
Yeah. I don't give a fuck what happened. I mean, first of all, to lose like that to that team, who do you think? Alabama has a tough schedule this year, man. I'm gonna look it up right now. There is no way that you can think that team is going to win 10 games this year. And if they don't win 10
I wonder how many games that Simpson will start before they go to Russell, right? He was the number 2 quarterback in last year's class, 5-star. I feel like that's sort of where it trends. Like, if it goes sideways, they just go to the young guys.
Bro, they're at Georgia. They're at Mizzou. They could lose that game. Tennessee
Mizzou looked great, by the way.
Yeah, Mizzou looked good. They're at South Carolina. They got LSU and Oklahoma. Bro, they are at Auburn this year. No, man, I think it's sometimes you don't want to overreact to week 1, but I think I saw enough of Bama, unless they've still got some residual goodwill from the college football playoff committee or whatever. And they're just like, well, man, we kind of got to put Alabama in there.
They got snubbed last year. Yeah, right. Can't go back to back.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't do that 2 years in a row. We got to figure out a way. But other than that, what I saw there, I mean, I just can't imagine that they'll be a playoff team this year.
So
I cross them off.
So I agree with Joel from like a talent and team standpoint, meaning what team do I think markedly less of after watching them play? What team do I think like just not as good as I thought they were? And that seems to be Alabama right now. The reason why I'm not going to go Alabama is because they still have a chance based upon the schedule. The team that I think put themselves out of playoff contention this week was Boise State.
100%.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was. Yeah.
Right.
So Boise State now will not make the playoff. They don't have the remaining schedule yet to get in. This loss to USF to me takes Boise State out. Actually, look up their schedule. I personally think a loss like this for a Boise State is the type of loss that goes, you cannot make the playoff anymore. Bama, if there is a way that they could figure their shit out, they still have games where they could make. Now, do I agree with you that it doesn't seem like they have the talent or the cohesion to do that? Yeah. But if they win those games that you're talking about, if they lose one more time, but they win those games that you're talking about, they'll make the playoff. Boise State, I feel like, is out of the playoff.
Okay, wait, hold on. If Boise State were to win at Notre Dame, do you think that salvages it at all?
Man, maybe.
See,
Because
they do get one more chance.
They do get one more chance, but I'm willing to say if they were to win at Notre Dame, it's gonna obviously gonna be contingent on what the other group of 5 teams do.
Right.
But yeah, maybe. But I think for them losing at USF, or excuse me, they lost at USF. Losing at USF to me, that was the disqualifying loss in my opinion.
Yeah, we also had a generational tweet from Brett McMurphy after they took a 7-0 lead. He was like, I thought the humidity was going to stop the Broncos, all this sort of stuff, and then they did not score again in the rest of the game. So that was great.
Brett McMurphy lived in Tampa long enough, though. It take a little bit to cook a little bit for it starts to catch up.
Start feeling it. Start feeling it in the second quarter.
They're just not as good.
To get you.
They're just not as good. They're just not as good as they were last year. Yeah.
That's it. Well, I mean, it was really nice to have Ashton Genty. You know what I mean?
Right. It made Genty look great. And also that defense that got 55 sacks and led the nation last year. It's a lot easier to pin your ears back and go after teams when, you're up 14-3 or whatever it is, right? When they just struggled to get any sort of identity. And Byron Brown was great.
Fucker, man. Yeah, he looked really good. Coming off a knee injury too, man. I was, kind of worried. I was like, is he going to be the same guy? But he looked like
he trucked the safety at the goal line,
dude.
With his
he went into that guy intentionally too, right? Like he could have avoided that contact, and I was like, you ran into that guy intentionally.
That was crazy. Let's do some rapid fire, some quick hitters on the way out. Rich Rodriguez, West Virginia coach, he's back, and they got a win against Robert Morris. On the level of 1 to 10, Van, how much do you care about Rich Rod's return?
Deeply.
Ooh, I
like an 8
too. I love it. Yeah, okay. There we go.
I loved when West Virginia was fun.
And they're playing Pitt this year. The backyard brawl is back.
It's back. I loved when they were fun. I loved playing with them on video games back in the day.
Too.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I loved when they were fun. And then when they started to fall off, and they had some okay years, but when they started to fall off and things fell apart, I was like, man, we don't get that's the essence of college football to me, is the fact that West Virginia had their own style and their own culture, and they cared about their football and they played their way. And it was a game you couldn't take lightly, and a team that was, outside of the elite for a long time, but very live team. And the fact that he went out into the wilderness and tried to figure out how to become one of the 5 biggest coaching names in the country didn't quite work out for him, but he came back home. And now he gets a chance to elevate them again and elevate himself again. I think it's awesome. I want it to work out.
And there's still players that you see that will make you think of those West Virginia teams. Like I was watching Jalen Lucas for Florida State today, and I'm like, is this Tavon Austin or Noel Devine? Like some sort of combination of those two guys, right? You know what I mean? That's why I like to see.
Harris, man.
Yeah, I like to see the West Virginia guys get back in the fold. Another interesting storyline here: Kent State got their first win in 2 years, thanks to Darilus Clark, a return touchdown to win this game. They haven't won a game in 2 years. The Golden Flashes. Joel, did you know this? And how happy were you to see them get a win?
I did know this about Kent State, and I'll shout out to the Split Zone Duo podcast because they had a series on This Is Why You Can't Win, basically. And Kent State was one of these special editions, and they went through about how bad Kent State has been over the years. And it is pretty the MAC schools are in a real bad situation as it is already because of the change with the NIL and everything. Like they're already resource poor.
Right.
I mean,
and they're getting poached.
They get poached.
All those teams.
Dudes just come, they're like, oh, okay, you got, look at that cornerback, dog, whatever.
Right.
And Kent, Ohio, bro. Look, no disrespect. There's a lot of beautiful places in the country, and that's not one of them. Okay?
God damn.
So it's tough to get people to go to Kent State, man. You're not going to Kent State if you can go somewhere else. Right?
Well,
yeah.
I'm not
saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, man, people live there, Joel. That's people's community.
Well, if you're the realist,
man, I'm from Houston. You have to have a tough skin. People say that Houston's ugly and horrible and all this dangerous and shit. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right, dog. I still love it though.
The last time I was in Houston, I was staying at a hotel in the arts part of Houston. Nice part.
Oh, yeah. Montrose, the museum district.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Hotel Zaza?
Nah, not the Zaza. I don't think it was Zaza. It was something else. Anyway, it was a nice hotel. I was in Houston to do some business. It was a nice hotel. And
business.
I shut up. I get there and it's like, I don't know, it's like 9 o'clock at night. And I'm about to, I get all my stuff in the room. And then I come downstairs and I'm like, yo, is there a CVS around here? And they go, yeah, it's one up the street. I was like, how far is it?
Oh.
The lady goes, 10-minute walk. And I was like, okay, cool. And she goes, no, we'll have a car take you. I'm like, I was like, I don't need a car to go up to walk 10 minutes to the CVS. Like, as a matter of fact, I just been on the plane. I want to walk to the CVS, so I don't need a car. The woman goes, sir, it's Houston.
And you're gonna have a problem.
And she looked exactly like she goes, sir, it's Houston. And I was like, okay. And the car took me to the thing, and then it took me back.
The thing I'll say about Houston, and I had to explain this to a friend of mine from DC once. I was like, if you're walking in Houston, that means something bad has happened, in your life. Like something has gone wrong. Like your car is broken down. Like you're living on the street. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something has gone wrong in your life. And when you look at you like that, it's like, man, why is that person walking, even if it's a 5-minute walk away? And it's something I had to unlearn as I moved around the world and moved to cities. And I'm like, oh, walking can be a very nice activity. Like you get outside and you're with nature.
Oh, I
The
can't
weather
walk.
is nice or whatever. But in Houston, you don't ever think about it like that. It's like, why would I walk anywhere? What the fuck are you talking about? So yeah.
Shout out to Kent. Shout out to Houston.
Kent, yeah.
We got 3 big games. Obviously, there's a huge game happening right now between the Tigers, Battle of Death Valley. But we got 3 big games, 2 on Sunday, 1 on Monday. Just wanted to kind of like forecast a little bit. We got the Beamer Bowl, Virginia Tech, South Carolina. We got Notre Dame, Miami, obviously, tomorrow. And then we got Bill Belichick's first game, TCU, North Carolina. Start, bench, cut, Van, those 3 games. It's probably easy.
So
for the most part,
give them to me again.
So we got the Beamer Bowl, Virginia
Okay.
Tech, South Carolina. Some emotions will be involved. You know what I mean? Between the Beamer family, we got Notre Dame, Miami, and then we got TCU, North Carolina. Those are the 3.
Okay. So I'm starting Notre Dame.
Makes sense.
I'm benching
Wow.
TCU
Okay.
and North Carolina, and I'm fucking cutting the Beamer shit. Fuck, get out of here. Like, you know what I mean?
But Lenore Sellers versus the lunch bell defense.
I'll watch all 3 of those games. All 3 of those games will be watched. But what you asked me was start, bench, cut. Now, like I tell you something. This is only a football thing, because if we were doing this just based off like who I want to see Jordan. I want to see
Well, I
Jordan.
was gonna say.
I want to see Jordan take a team to the playoffs. The coach, the first female coach in the history of the NCAA football, NCAA major football. She's going to be calling her own plays. She's going to be like, Matt Patricia, oh, excuse me, we forgot to talk about something. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Not
please.
miss Big Van on campus
Wednesday.
on Wednesday. Don't miss it. I got 2 words for you. Nipple rings. And I
thought it was going to be Raiola.
I
thought it was
never
Pat
thought-
Mahomes.
Yeah, what
Nah,
happened?
man, we might have to split it up. Nipple rings, man. I never thought there was a nipple ring situation today, and I feel like that
Man.
gave this coach an edge. I'm not going to talk about it.
You-
Got to tune in. I feel like the nipple ring, because think about it. Whenever you see somebody with a nipple ring, you go, I want to be around this motherfucker, because I want to know why. I want to know why. You see it under the shirt, girl or guy.
Yeah, what are you up to?
I want to know why.
Yeah.
What's happening with you? And that happened today. But no, that's my start, bench, cut. I don't want to take up too much oxygen.
No, that's great. So that's a nice tease there. Do you want to talk about Raiola and Pat Mahomes and Taylor Swift and the Kelsey brothers? We didn't mention any of that because we were going to save it. Any thoughts? I mean, obviously Pat Mahomes, Joel, he left the game early. So
Yeah, I mean,
there's
that-
been
you know,
some
they-
pushback there.
The game looked sort of amazing. Did you see the crowd there?
Yeah.
Oh, the crowd was great.
They
Nebraska was great. I mean, their
Yeah.
fans, like, they want it so bad. Like, as I watched that game, I was like, I almost want it for Nebraska because they want it so bad.
It's so
Yeah.
fun. If you've never been to a game in Nebraska, you got to go. Like, this is a great environment. Like, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see them potentially be good. So yeah, no, I want to say, but can I just for a second talk about Van's team real quick? Tarleton State.
Oh, yeah,
shit,
that's
yeah.
right.
Tarleton State, bro. We've watched 2 Tarleton State because we were, again, like last week, they went up to Portland, beat Portland State, went across the country.
Right.
Man, think about the road trip that they had to make. This is a school in Stephenville, Texas. And I don't know if y'all have ever been to Stephenville, Texas before.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, bro. You don't ever heard. You know who's from Stephenville, Texas? I'm gonna give you a list of names. You're gonna be shocked at the list of people that are from Stephenville, Texas. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Jared Stidham,
Okay.
Kevin Cobb,
Oh,
Oh, we got
quarterback.
QBs.
Okay.
Even Sneed.
Oh.
And since it's a big Manning day, you remember Brandon Stewart? Does that name ring a bell? Texas A&M quarterback.
I do. Yeah.
He battled Peyton Manning for the starting role at Tennessee.
Tennessee, yep.
His freshman year. That's right. Shout out Brandon with 2 wins.
Another Charlton State note, Billy Gillespie, former Kentucky basketball coach, much maligned and fired. He's the head coach at Charlton State. So there you go.
Tate, when I brought up Charlton State on the group text, they beat Army. What did you say?
I just said that didn't happen under the previous administration, as far as I know. Van got a kick out of that.
It was legitimately
It was a good line.
funny. Legitimately funny. I'm telling y'all something, man. I had a conversation with Tate last week. I know we gotta go. I had a conversation because I gotta go. I gotta watch this game. I had a conversation with Tate last week where the Tate came off Tate, and Tate started and me and Tate started talking, and Tate said something. Me and Tate are talking, and Tate goes, "Yeah, man, real talk." I'm like,
No,
what?
Van, he said real talk earlier too, though.
Yeah, Tate's like, yeah, man, real talk, like real talk. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Hey, man, I was trained in the broadcasting school of commentating. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta, real life is different. That's what the people on Reddit don't know. You know what I mean? Real life is a little bit different. But we're having fun out here.
I want to be a part of that conversation, man. Just because I got COVID, I mean y'all can't talk to me, man.
Yeah, that is sort of the note. We got to make sure Joel feels better. He is doing this hurt right now. This is your flu game, your COVID game. So shout out to you for making it happen. Shout out to everybody for in the chat coming to watch us. We're going to be doing this every Saturday, so get used to it. We're going to be hanging here at Ringer Tailgate. We have LSU Clemson. Go watch that right now. Later on tonight, if you want reactions to that game, Todd McShay will be going live with Minch, and they will be breaking down what happened. But again, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Any parting thoughts, Van, before you go get locked in? Any superstitions we need to abide by before this game continues?
I think that there were a lot of people that thought that they are thinking right now that maybe these games are not living up to all of the hype, but they are. Mm-hmm. They are. I think that, honestly, the Ohio State-Texas game was the most interesting version of itself. It wasn't the most entertaining version of itself, not by any stretch of the imagination, but that game today was the most interesting version of itself, to where we come away, we have just as many questions as we have answers.
True.
And we are wanting more and to learn more about each team and about, those programs in and of themselves. We're not probably going to come away from this week with having any clue who the best team in America is, and that's good for college football.
Yeah, it's a great point. Ohio State, are they the number one team in the country? I guess they should be, but do they jump Penn State, who was voted in front of them? That's fascinating. Joel, any parting thoughts?
I don't know what the hell to make of Alabama or Florida State now. Right. And that was I thought I was going to have a little bit more clarity. I thought I had more clarity on what those two teams were coming into this weekend. And now I'm like, I have no idea what to expect from either one of those teams right now. Like, you could tell me that Alabama recovers and goes 11-1 and goes to the playoff, and that seems less likely than them going 7-5. Right? And for Florida State, like, who knows what this means, but they're not. I mean, if they're as good as we think they might be, their schedules, ACC, man, they set up. I mean, they got to play Florida, of course, and whatever, but I mean, they could.
Tommy Castellano's Heisman odds might be better than Arch Manning tomorrow morning. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much today flipped. That's what the craziest part is.
Kaylin DeBoer, man. See if you can call Seattle, man. See if you can get y'all thing back, bro.
Yeah. I think Pat Chung, Washington's AD, he's probably ready to pick up the phone. He'll answer and see what's going on. Jed Fish said it was a great time for college football, though. And like Van said, it's a great time to be viewing and watching and enjoying college football. We appreciate everybody tuning in and watching it and enjoying it with us. We will be back on Wednesday. We got Big Van on campus. We got a lot of takes. We got Arch Manning memes galore. We got a lot coming. So we appreciate everybody tuning in and enjoy the Clemson LSU game. Good luck, Van.